Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Namo sarando suchedoye olahadi samyao samputoshe.
Namo sadando suchedoye arahati samyao sambuddhase.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 师父上人，各位师兄，大家阿弥陀佛。Venerable Master Dharma friends, welcome to the Sutra lecture today. My name is Heng. Today is Sunday, November 26th here in Queensland, Australia. It is the full moon day tonight, 98% full, full moon in Taurus, and I am delighted to be back from 2 weeks away in China. I have been traveling through China, looking at the Buddhist world and making new friends and learning a lot, and I want to share some of those stories with all of us today. Happy that you were with us. I hope you all have found the right translation channel. Those of you who would like to hear Putonghua, we have translation for you. Those of you who would like to hear Vietnamese, we have translation. And I will do my best to bring my Middle American Great Lakes English language accent to your ears in a way that you can understand. So that's what we have in mind today. Hope you're ready to listen to the arrival of Manjushri Bodhisattva to the Jada Grove. It's a big deal when Manjushri shows up. So that's what we've got coming up for all of you. Let's see, that's the wrong sutra. Here's the right sutra. Let's invoke spiritual presence. I will pick up this lovely musical instrument to help us out. What we're doing is we're inviting the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas of the Avatamsaka assembly to come here to the Gold Coast and also to wherever you are listening in. Master Hua would tell us that they're just waiting, they're just hoping that we humans, we living beings, will find that activity important to open the Avatamsaka Sutra or any Buddhist sutra. And when we do it, as they say, rufa, according to Dharma, they will come. Where they show up, there's lots of light. There's lots of wholesome energy that no amount of negativity or cynicism or depression can dim in the slightest. So we want to invite them. Let's do it. Namo Dafang Guang Fu Jing Huayan Highway Opusa. Some people are going, Dharma Master, that's too high. Namo Dafang Guang Fu Huayan Highway Opusa. Namo Dafang Huayan Highway Opusa. We'll do it 7 times. O Da Fang Guang Opusa. That's 3. Namo Da Fang We'll bring that guitar back later. But at the moment, we would like to acknowledge the Kombumerri people of the Ugambe language region as traditional storytellers and custodians of the land where the monastery is located. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. And likewise, we move through, we say, I forgot the Chinese there, let's go back. We need to do this, okay. 就说我们恭敬地承认Ugambe语族的孔布马里人是我们寺院所在地的传统术士和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且向为放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Okay. We've done due diligence here. Pomo people from Mendocino County, the Ohlone people from what we call Alameda County, and the bell song. Bells sound wide, resound throughout 100 million worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000劫内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他诺后德。Okay, done. Yeah. Now, I was on the airplane about 5 hours ago. Just arrived, and I have with me hundreds of photos and dozens of stories which have not been collated yet, haven't been organized yet. So I won't be able to do the full report, but I would like to share with folks some of the scenes, some of the sounds, and some of the reflections on the Chinese Buddhist world, the Buddhist world of China in the year 2023. And my disclaimer is that I see it through the eyes of an American-Australian, a hyphenated Aussie, who has been partaking of and been studying the Chinese Buddhist world for nearly half a century. But the fact that I get to China is always in like 2-week chunks every 3 or 4 years. So that's a disclaimer. So am I qualified to have an opinion about what's going on in China? Barely. But as someone who is made a lifetime of studying of the culture, the language, and the religions of China, if that's enough of a qualification, then you can take what I say through that filter. So someone who's actually lived there for longer and has deeper insight would have a different point of view. Let's move right here. Coming up. Here's our sutra. Now, the 2 weeks I was away, 2 weeks ago, Dharma Master Heng stood in, did a great job of bringing the sutra forward, and all of the technical, this is quite a production, I must say. In front of me, I'm looking at 2 cameras, 2 microphones, 3 computers, 4 technicians, 2 translators, and this is only the folks that are here present in the Buddha Hall at Gold Coast Amarillo. In California, we have another entire team that is bringing the the Zoom call, the live stream to YouTube, and the Vietnamese translation to all of you. There are folks listening right now on YouTube who are typing in lots of joined palms emojis. Dong, 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 dong. That's a great emoji. And if people have questions on the YouTube side, type them in. Our tech rep, Jerry, will happily pass them on. And I will see if I can shed any light on questions you might have. Comments are appreciated, respectful comments. Okay, into the text. What happened? Oh, and then that was Heng Josher. Then last week, Marty, Professor Verhoeven from the Berkeley Monastery, gave his perspective on this passage here. Fascinating, fascinating part of the sutra. So we had our entire community chipped in for the Avatamsaka Sutra. And I have to say, there aren't that many places around the world in any given week where the Avatamsaka Sutra gets attention. So this is pretty special. What I'm going to do is read through Chinese English so you can pick up the thread. We'll catch up to where we were. Okay, starting here. I'll just do it myself. You'll give me that way we get some momentum going. Here we go. Ready? 佛子此十多领，一切菩萨唯欲承受诸众生故，或是现处种种言示诸宫殿中，或时示现住自楼阁宝狮子座，道场众会所宫围绕，周边十方皆令得见，然亦不离此十多领如来之所。Disciples of the Buddha, all the bodhisattvas within this Jada Grove, for the sake of bringing beings to maturity, appeared at times in palaces with many decorations, appeared at times dwelling in their own pavilions, seated on jeweled lion thrones, circled by the assemblies within the Bodhimanda, filling the 10 directions, so that they could be seen by all. Yet they had not left the Tathagata's place at the Jada Grove. Okay, magical bodhisattva stuff, which is bodhisattvas can divide their bodies. They have this ability to call Huashen. It's part of the 3 bodies of the Buddha, which is this teaching that when you become a Buddha, your Buddha nature functions in a special way that you can appear in more than one form. These bodhisattvas are not Buddhas yet, but they can do that. And it says, look, in order to bring beings to maturity, in order to teach us so that we wake up and don't spend all our time pursuing things that don't bring joy. Spending lots of time in casinos, for example, rarely brings joy, and yet people, oh my goodness, go in there. The disease of gambling, the gambling addiction disease, is such a sad, sad, sad curse on families because the house always wins. It's just a law. And yet folks, for that little bit of jackpot, struck it rich, will destroy a family's wealth in a short time. That's immature living beings. So these bodhisattvas, oops, I'm coming in and out here on my mic. These bodhisattvas, to help us wake up, appear where? Palaces with decorations, their own pavilions, jewel lion thrones, circled by assemblies, filling the 10 directions, to be seen by all. And the kicker line, they never left the Jada Grove. How does that happen? They can transform their bodies. That's how it happens. So that's, if you want science to describe that, it can. This is not and empirically tested. It could be if there were enough people who did the work to get to that state of samadhi, but don't hold your breath. So there it is. Now, let's see, today is Sunday. On Thursday, 3 days ago, I was in what's called Lingguang Si, the temple of magic light. And that's where the Buddha's tooth relic is. There are two of them in the world. One of them is there at Lingguang Si. Lingguang Si is north of Beijing, not too far from, people know where Longquan Si, Dragon Spring. There is one elder bhikshu. I've actually got his picture right here. Changzang Fasher, that's him right down there in the corner. Changzang Fasher right here, that's him. He's got a big, distinguished physiognomy. Master Changzang was appointed by the Buddha Association to take care of the tooth relic. And this is said to be actual relic of the Buddha from 2,500 years ago. It was in Burma for a large part of that time, but it was donated to the Chinese Buddhist Association by the Buddhists of Burma. And Master Changzang said that he spends every year, 365 days, he spends about 150 of those days greeting delegations from Burma. His day is filled up with telling the story and then taking people up to the Sharira so they can bow. And you get up to the top in a circular pagoda. The palaces with many decorations, Lingguang Si is decorated like a palace. It is splendid, unbelievably beautiful with gold and red and art treasures from the Palace Museum, the Gugong. And his job is to greet the delegations, tell them the story of one of the episodes of the life of the tooth Sharira, is one of the political leaders of Burma was appearing at a rally close by where the tooth relic was, and a terrorist tried to assassinate the political leader with a bomb. And the bomb went off right beside the tooth relic, and everything around it was destroyed, but the tooth relic was untouched, unharmed. It was as if there were a shield around it. So he did the same, took us up. We paid our respects to this remarkable Buddhist relic. It's a whole, like you think, what do they say? In the Vatican, there's cloth from Jesus' robe and wood from the cross in Jerusalem, and, same kind of thing. But the decorations at Lingguang Si and how Master Changzang's job is to take those delegations. And he did it very gracefully, as if it were fresh. And he said those words hundreds and hundreds of times, probably 3 times a day. He says, tell us the story. So we went, and if you think about, the Jade Grove is a real place. We've been to the Jade Grove. You can go there in India. And historically, the Avatamsaka Sutra was spoken at one point by the Buddha in the Jade Grove. And he's praising bodhisattvas, filling the 10 directions. And what is it like when the bodhisattvas gather? Some of our disciples had to use the facilities at Lingguang Si, and they said, everybody needs to go in and try the bathrooms. Why? When you open the door, the lights come on, the toilet seat drops, and it's heated. Every time you open the door, it just automatically, it's Japanese toilet technology, the best of all, And why? The decorations of the Bodhi Mandala. So many people have come to Lingguang Si that they've outfitted it splendidly, including heated, coordinated seats. So it's when you open the door, the seat drops. So how wonderful. Don't you know that wherever there are all these people, they have human needs as well. My goodness. So, Lingguangsi, this is part of the Buddhist church in China. Just amazing to see it with your own eyes. So, bodhisattvas seated on jewel lion thrones, teaching living beings, but physically sitting right there, never moving. The next paragraph that we heard with Dharma Master Hengzhe, 佛子此诸菩萨，或是实现无量化身云，或现其身，独一无虑。所谓或现沙门身，或现波罗门身，或现苦行僧，或现重生身，或现以往身，或现商主身，或现净命身，或现伎乐身，或现奉事诸天身，或现工巧技术身，往诣一切存因成意，往度聚落，注重生所，遂其所应，以种种形象、种种威仪、种种音声、种种言论、种种住处，与一切世间有如帝王行菩萨行。Wonderful story. Disciples of the Buddha, those bodhisattvas at times manifested clouds of transformed bodies beyond measure, or at times appeared as solitary persons without companions. That is to say, they made the body of a Shramana appear, or they made the body of a Brahman appear, or they made the body of an ascetic appear, or they made a robust and healthy body appear, or they made the body of a medicine king appear, or they made the body of a merchant chief appear, or they made the body of one who practices pure livelihood appear, or they made the body of a musician appear, or they made the body of one who serves all the gods appear, or they made the body of one who is skilled at all the arts and crafts appear. This is how bodhisattvas teach, and the whole theme of the last couple weeks of the sutra is the Buddha praising bodhisattvas for their skill, saying they can teach in so many ways. They take a look at how people can learn, and then they appear in that form. That's what bodhisattvas do. So let me just reflect. I haven't heard Dharma Master Hengzhe's whole lecture, but I think she touched on this idea. You know the idea of dogma? When you have what's called a received teaching, you can't stray from it. You have to repeat what the prophet said over and over and over. And orthodoxy is, this is what he said. This is what she said. We have to keep it pure. If you stray from it, you are unorthodox. You're considered a heretic. Your blood will flow. Your head will fall. That's what people do with orthodoxy, with dogma. You repeat the truth. It is unerring. It is correct and proper. Most theistic religions are set up that way because their teachings are revealed. It was given at one time by one person, and we have to keep it pure, right? Okay, take a look at what the Buddha is saying about bodhisattvas. And why is this different and important? Bodhisattvas look at the heart of living beings and they say, how can this person discover their own Dharma wisdom? How can this person wake up to their own virtue? How can that person, not just a person, God, Deva, dragon, Ashura, how can they wake up to their own insight? I will teach them in that way. This is the anti-dogma, right? This is so, I think it's so important to mention that, right? That the Buddha Dharma, because why? Because it's not a delivered teaching. It's not revealed like the tablets coming down from Sinai. It's awakened to from within. You wake up to the Dharma in your heart. What do they say? 师父领进门，修行在个人. The teacher leads you to the door. You yourself have to cultivate it. That's so different. And that's why I think Buddhism is going to catch on here in Australia, because it's flexible, it's living, it's responsive. It is not dogma. It's not dogmatic. It's not, oh, you got it wrong, we have to correct you. Now you can say cause and effect doesn't work. That'd be wrong. But in terms of how it's taught. So Master Hua was so inventive and creative and fresh in his approach to how the Dharma is taught. Because why? We young hippies in the 1960s and 70s were not traditional Buddhists in the Chinese mold. The essence of it is unerring because it's taught from the mind. It's Dao De, virtue in the way, which is in every human heart. But the job of the Bodhisattva here, look, Bodhisattvas can appear as musicians. Oh, I'm so glad to see that. Ah, how gratifying. See, the Sutra says monks can play guitars. No, it doesn't say that. But look, you can be an ascetic. You can appear just, eating very little and never sleeping. And that's also the Dharma. Or you can be chubby, robust. 心广体胖也可以，也不离于佛法, right? So, how interesting, how interesting. Okay, let's see here. John says, Sutra needs explanation. Is Thomas Cleary's any good? Is the relic that one emanates other like the diamonds? Okay, bunch of questions there. Of course, Thomas Cleary's translation is definitely any good. He doesn't explain. If you pick up Thomas Cleary's various editions of the Avatamsaka Sutra, you can hold in your hand the whole book. It's quite marvelous. I use Thomas Cleary's translation of the Avatamsaka as a reference work for our own translation of the Avatamsaka. Allow me, but if you Cleary's work, I don't want to say falls short. I will say if you're looking for help interpreting, he doesn't help you. For example, in our chapter 39 that we got going right now, Entering the Dharma Realm, Sudana, our Bodhisattva, goes out to meet 53 teachers. And Cleary, for some reason, keeps the names of each teacher in Sanskrit. He translates them out of Chinese into Sanskrit. And they translate into English very nicely from Chinese. And the names are fun. The Bhikshuni Upasika Asha, and the Brahman Relentless Heat, and the Great King Bright Light. For some reason, Cleary puts them back into Sanskrit. So you're meeting Bhismagarjita instead of the Buddha, the friend with the awesome voice, That's not so helpful. But he's done the whole thing, and it's a massive accomplishment. What I would do if I were someone looking for a complete translation of the Avatamsaka Sutra from start to finish, done, I would do this. I would go to BuddhistTexts.org, BuddhistTexts, second T, EXTX, BuddhistTexts.org. You will see it momentarily appear in front of you here. You are not connected to the internet. Why not? Buddha Hall. BuddhistText.org. There it is, right there. BuddhistText.org. And go down to the bottom and look for Kalavinka. Kalavinka Press, down at the very bottom, right there. This is our Dharma brother, Bhikshu Heng Sho, who has completed an entire complete translation of the Avatamsaka Sutra. 3 volumes. It's available here. It's a wonderful translation, volumes 1, 2, and 3. It's not awesomely expensive. It's relatively inexpensive for what it is. If you go to Amazon.com, it's available there, right there. This is US dollars. So there it is, volume 1, 2, 3. So Kalavinka is the press, the pen name of Bhikshu Heng Sho, Dharma Mitra, as he also calls himself. He has translated the whole thing, quite wonderful, and he provides tremendous footnotes, glossary, editorial comments. This is where you want to go to get help understanding. Okay, so that's question number 1. Question number 2, is the tooth relic like a diamond? No, it's not. It's a tooth relic. Didn't burn in the fire. Okay, so that was my comment on the these abilities of the bodhisattvas to appear in different bodies, and what that says about the flexibility and liveliness of the Dharma. The fact that it ain't dogma. This is the anti-dogma. It's flexible, so you can never really be a heretic unless you work at it. Now, in Buddhism, there are some heretics who will tell you the precepts don't matter. You can, eat, drink, and be merry and still get enlightened. Nothing wrong with eating, drinking, and being merry, but don't expect that that leads to stillness of mind. It leads to cloudy mind, and that's the opposite of samadhi. So, some people might say, oh, precept, samadhi, and wisdom, the samvuloshe, the 3 non-outflowing sciences, that is dogma. Yeah, so it's a method. There's a difference between dharma and dogma. Dharma, when it's used to mean a technique, a method, is kind of like saying, oh, I would like to bake an apple pie. I'm going to leave the apples out. You leave the apples out, you have something that's not an apple pie. You have dough and a crust and whatever else you filled it with. Maybe it's mincemeat, maybe it's pumpkin. It's not an apple pie. You want to make an apple pie, here's how you do it. Get the crust, get the apples, get the cinnamon, and bake it properly. That's the difference between dogma and dharma. There is a method, precepts, samadhi, and wisdom. Hear that funny echo? What would that be? Yeah, funny sound. And then it goes away. Maybe it's interference. Yeah, it's interference somewhere. Okay, so that's my point. That's all I wanted to say about that. Moving on. Here we go. Shingpu Sahang. Actually, you know what? When I read the Chinese, I read this all the way down. I didn't finish this. They traveled to all villages, hamlets, cities, provinces, capital cities and gathering places, and in accord of the propensities of all living beings, with various shapes and form, various comportments, various sounds, various discourses and theories, various dwelling places. Throughout the worlds, like Indra's net, they cultivated bodhisattvas' practices. Okay, so here's the Buddha. Okay, let me put a context on this. We're about to end the prelude to the entering the Dhamma realm chapter. We've been on this for 6 months now. The preparation. This is the prelude. This is the preface. The teaching has not begun. When we started this chapter, there's a huge, huge chapter. When we started it, I said, okay, everybody, entering the Dharma realm, you all know Sudana's pilgrimage. Be patient. Hasn't happened yet. It's going to happen. Not yet. Not yet. He's coming, but we have to prepare. And so all of this, to this point, has been preparation. The turning point comes up in the next passage. Manjushri Bodhisattva shows up. There's one more to go. There's this little bit here and there. And the Manjushri shows up. So this is, if this were a movie, we would have a major change of scene right now. And this would be it's actually I think we're in the third scroll at this point. So, here are the bodhisattvas putting in the miles, frequent flyer miles. They are always on the move, traveling to villages, hamlets, cities, provinces, capitals, gathering places. And according with what living beings can hear in different shapes, forms, voices, theories, stories, music, throughout worlds like Indra's net, they cultivate bodhisattva practices so that they can have merit and virtue to dedicate. That's what they got. Here is Indra's net. That doesn't appear very often. Many people, when they think of Indra's net, they think, oh, that's your, what do you call that sutra? The Avatamsaka. Yes, that's where we hear Indra's net. Well, Indra's net doesn't appear very often, actually, in the sutra, but it's such a memorable symbol that it comes out to represent the whole sutra. Here it is. Worlds like Indra's net. One more passage. Everybody gonna join me here? I'll listen in. Here we go. 或说一切世间工巧事业，或说一切智慧照世明灯，或说一切众生业力所庄严，或说十方国度建立诸城卫，或说智灯所照一切法境界，教化成熟，one more time， 教化成就一切众生，而亦不离此十多里如来之所。Perhaps they spoke of the arts and crafts of all worlds, or they spoke of the lamp of omniscience that illumines the world, or they spoke of the adornments of all beings' karmic power, or they spoke of the establishment of the different vehicles within countries of the 10 directions, or they spoke of the states of all dharmas illumined by the lamp of wisdom. They taught and transformed beings, yet they did not leave the Buddha's side at the Jade Grove. How about that, friends? I mean, right? They do all this teaching, incredible teaching, and yet they never left, never left the Jade Grove. It's like, oh yeah, those are the bodhisattvas. What they can do is amazing. We've had all this exciting, exotic talk about what's going on. Let me show you an example of our world's version of this. Where are we? We are in a place called Wan Shou Si. Where is Wan Shou Si? 10,000 year monastery. It's in a place called Jingshan Si. It's in Zhejiang province. To satisfy those of you who are geographically curious, let's go to Jingshan. Jingshan. Right. The reason it's worth looking at is this is a historic Buddhist place. Jingshan. There it is. Okay, here's China. We are in Zhejiang province, right here. And Zhejiang has such Buddhist history, including the city of Hangzhou. But this is up in the mountains. It's way up in the mountains. Here, it was about, this is November, it was about 12 degrees here. Up in the mountains, it was about 4 degrees Celsius. It was cold and the wind blew, oh my goodness. So here we are, there's Hangzhou, the former capital of China, and up here is Jingshan Temple. You change the layers, you can see how rugged this is up in the mountains, right? And you go way up in the mountains, and the temple itself sits in a like a cup, sits in like a bowl, surrounded by mountains on all sides. And it's a beautiful place for cultivation. And the monks in the past had to walk. We drove. And took about an hour to go from the Shanzhuang, the villa where some of the world's best tea is harvested. This is where people of means go to drink special tea, particularly Longjing tea. You go an hour from there straight up. The monks of the past walked. They walked up there. And what was special about Jingshan Si, this is where the Huatou method was created, Can Huatou, looking into the word topic. Nian Fo Shi Shui, that's where it came from, back in the past. It's a famous Zen Chan temple. Furthermore, it's where the Japanese tea ceremony was born. 他们那边有个茶宴, 中国茶宴. The Japanese came, studied it there, fell in love with it, took it back to Japan. It includes whisking green tea, matcha, you know, you whisk, 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 rucha. That was created here in the past at Jingshan Wanshou. So that's where they selected our forum that I went to China to attend. 中美加三个国家佛教论坛. The China, America, Canada, 3-country Buddhist forum. Now, the reason I wanted to show this photo is this was taken at Jingshan Si. It's been recently renovated, beautifully done, beautifully renovated. Huge temple. Lots and lots of money was used to build Jingshan Si, Jingshan Temple, back to this incredible status. The new abbot of Jingshan Si is this monk here, Jiexing Fashi. He's a young, talented, capable monk, good scholar, kind-hearted guy. And we went up to his abbot's quarters, and on the way up he said to me, I wanted you to know that all of us as young monks read your bowing books, he said. That was nice. So here is Dharma Master Jin Chuan. Everybody knows Jin Chuan. Here is Master Jin Wei. This is our delegation is here. This is Venerable Venerable Kovilo is here, and Venerable Nisabo. These are our 2 Theravada monks from Dharma Realm Buddhist University. This one is the first Theravada forest tradition monk to attend Dharma Realm Buddhist University. He's a student at our school. Here is Master Chao Zhou from Los Angeles. This is our friend Master Guangquan, Ling Yin Si Da Fang Zhang. He is pretty much the organizer of this entire event. That's myself. Here is Secretary Liu Wei of the Buddhist Association. Here is Madalena, our guide, who fearlessly, tirelessly takes us to China over and over again. This is Master Zongxing from the Buddhist Association of China. Here is Venerable Jayasaro, who joined our delegation from Thailand. He is truly a Zhanglao, an elder. His job back in Thailand, he is the tutor of the prince, the king's son in Thailand. He is so revered in China. His Thai is the best, he speaks the best Thai of any Western monk. This is Michael, graduate of our boys' school, went to Stanford, is currently working for NVIDIA, making the chips that power AI everywhere. This is Amy Zhangqian, our delegation secretary and facilitator. She's an aerospace engineer who takes care of the buildings and grounds of CTDB. This is Mr. Wang Li from the Buddhist Association. Here's Changzang, the abbot of Lingguangsi with the Buddhist Truth Shura. This gentleman is the abbot of Yonghe Gong in Beijing, the famous Lama temple. And last but not least, the chairperson, president of the Buddhist Association, Master Yenjie. He is currently the #1 monk in China right now. Super good guy. Been to City of 10,000 Buddhas, sincere. He has to sit in so many meetings and make these long speeches about Buddhism with Chinese characteristics, and yet he does it with grace and a kind heart and absolute samadhi. He doesn't deviate. He's straight ahead guy. Loves Buddhist music. He and I first met in Wuxi 10 years ago in a Buddhist music seminar before he was selected to go up. And he really likes Master Xuanhua. He thinks Shifu is the real cultivator. And he's been to CTDB and had dinner with us, and he invites us every time. So these are now, I can say, this monk are good friends. And what a blessing to be able to come to China and be greeted as cultivators, as friends, as Dharma brothers. These are the monks who currently, their job includes politics. They have to show up and represent the official religious department line, but they do it with a kind of joy and definitely a sense that we have met before. Very interesting how there's a sense of, oh, you're back, you know, on both sides. So as we get to our text, right, the text says, teaching arts and crafts, teaching about the lamp that illumines the world, teaching about karma, different vehicles, countries of the 10 directions, right? Mahayana, Theravada, Vajrayana. The states of dharmas illuminated by wisdom, teaching living beings, but you don't leave the Jade Grove. I thought, yeah, there we go. Take a look. Here we are at this historic place, Jingshansi, meeting again. The reason we were here for this photo was Master Yenjie had to go to Thailand. So when we got to Beijing, he was not going to be there to greet us. He greeted us at Jingshansi instead. And it was great because I said we went into the room right behind here. I said, Ajahn Jayasaro has agreed to join us in our delegation. And I wanted to introduce him as the tutor of the Prince of Thailand to Master Yenjie. And Ajahn Jayasaro said, I want Master Yenjie to know that the reason I came on this delegation is because the bonds of brotherhood established between Ajahn Sumedho and Master Xuanhua were cemented when Master Xuanhua donated 120 acres of Mendocino County to Ajahn Sumedho for their monastery. He said, because of that generosity, we exist in America, you know. So Master Yendri is like, yes, yes, we know about Master Shenhua, you know. So that's the kind of kinship that we share over the years. So very powerful stuff, and totally worth the trip to get to know how these friendships develop in the 21st century. Okay, are we ready? Yes, we're ready. Manjushri Bodhisattvas coming forth. Are we ready? Here we go. 尔时文殊师利童子从善住楼阁出，遇无量同行菩萨，即常岁侍卫，诸尽刚神，普为众生供养诸佛，诸身众神，即发见誓愿，常虽从，驻足恒神。要闻妙法主地身，常修大悲主水身，智光照耀主火身，莫逆为光助风身。Then the youth Manjushri came forth from the wholesome abode pavilion, accompanied by limitless bodhisattvas. With him were also spirits of adamantine goodness who were constantly in attendance, the many-bodied spirits who made offerings to the Buddhas for the sake of beings everywhere, the spirits who traveled on foot, having made solid vows to always follow and assist, the earth-ruling spirits who delighted in hearing the Dharma, the water-ruling spirits who always cultivated great compassion, the fire-ruling spirits who illumined with wisdom's light, the wind-ruling spirits who were crowned with mani, zhu feng shen the sea, the wind-ruling, yeah, that's what we got. Okay, break, pause. Marty last week did a good job with this. And it goes on down. I just wanted to catch us up. So I'm repeating. People can listen to the replay on YouTube if they want to hear Marty's read-through of this, Professor Verhoeven. The point is, where Manjushri goes, there is always a crowd. Who is Manjushri? Manjushri Bodhisattva is one of the two bodhisattvas, or three, who are the main speakers of the Avatamsaka Sutra. We have him here. Manjushri Bodhisattva is right there. Samantabhadra Bodhisattva is right there. Vairochana Buddha is right behind me here. Manjushri is revered as the Bodhisattva of great wisdom. He appears often with a sword in his hand to slice through delusion to get to truth. Manjushri takes us to the realm of emptiness. He's foremost in generating wisdom of emptiness, and he's sitting on a lion most often. Here he's sitting on a lotus, but often Manjushri will be depicted on a lion. Lion being courage, fearlessness. Why? Face to face with emptiness, people retreat. It's too empty. It's too scary. There's no hugs. There's no smiles. There's no warmth. There's no bribing. There's no relationship that you can pull on. There's no guanxi at all in the realm of emptiness. It's empty. It is scientifically empty. You take all conditioned things and show how they come apart. Where's your body? Where's the world? And the thing is, this is not philosophy. You can experience it in your meditation. If you meditate into certain samadhis, it all falls apart. The earth does, the water does, the fire does, the air does. The thinking, your thinking disappears. Language disappears. The alphabet disappears. Disappears, right? And you're like facing the void. Manjushri says, fear not, don't stop. Take one more step, and it's all back, only purified of self. So they say true emptiness doesn't obstruct. wonderful existence. Wonderful existence doesn't obstruct pure emptiness. They coexist and they're gone, and they coexist and they're gone, and they coexist and they're gone. Perfect illustration of why Manjushri teaches Jankong, true emptiness. Here's the illustration right here. Right there. Tang zhi shou, da cui bei, jia po ren wang, yu nan kai. Burned my hand, shattered my cup, broken for good my mind. Like my family, it's lost. People are gone. Words are hard to find. True emptiness. Master Empty Cloud's enlightenment poem. He realized that state of emptiness. Burned his hand, shattered his cup. Can't drink any more tea. He's also got a second degree burn on his hand from the hot water. My mind is broken, not to be repaired. It's lost. Like my family, there's no people, nothing to say. That's Jankong, right? He just face to face with the void, because why? In his meditation, he's actually tasted it. He knows the flavor of that. But look at line 2. 春到花香处处修，山河大地是如来. Spring is here. The flowers breathe their fragrance to the sun. Mountains, rivers, the earth itself, it's just the Buddha. It's all a gift. Every part of the wonder of southeastern Queensland comes without our asking. We don't have to apply for it. We don't have to rent it. We don't have to tax it. It's all here. What we have to do is stop ruining it, stop cutting it down. But look at that. Right in the middle of true emptiness, it's all back, free of charge. That's Buddha Dharma. It doesn't stop in emptiness. But if you don't get to emptiness, you also don't get the wonderful existence. So Manjushri is there to tell us, oh, you know what? I wasn't sharing my screen. Shoot. Jerry, you were supposed to say, Fa sure, you forgot to share your screen. Okay. Manjushri is there with his sword to let us know that we can go into emptiness and safely come back out. Keep slicing, keep moving the sword. Don't stop with emptiness. You're not home yet. You're only halfway there. So there's that. That's Manjushri. Okay, share your screen, Dharma Master. There we go. That's Manjushri. And he shows up, and because he was a Buddha in the past, as hard as that is to grasp, he is always surrounded by people he's teaching. In this case, spirits of goodness, spirits of multiple bodies, foot-traveling spirits, wow, earth-ruling spirits, water-ruling, fire-ruling, wind-ruling spirits. These are all Shen. So what's a spirit? What would it be? This having a teacher like our teacher is a real benefit in passages like this, because either you trust that Master Hua had this vision or you don't, but I think most of us who witnessed it would verify that it was pretty clear that Shifu was speaking from his own experience. It wasn't fantasy, he wasn't making it up, it wasn't fiction. Shifu would say, Shun and ghosts, spirits and ghosts. Ghosts are yin energy. They're disembodied, and it's dark. You can't always see them, but you can. And then he would say there are ghosts everywhere. How many living beings are there? That's how many ghosts there are. He would say there are ghosts in dark, watery places. There are ghosts that follow around, of course, graveyards, but there are ghosts everywhere. And he described them. He'd say there are ghost generals, there are ghost soldiers, there are ghost children, there are ghost fathers, families, bosses, slaves, all that. He would just say it's a whole world of ghosts. Don't think there's anything else. What do you think you are in between bodies? He would say. I never thought of it that way, Shifu. And then he would say, spirits are bright energy, disembodied. Then he would say, there are spirits everywhere. Look outside. There are spirits on the hydrangeas. There are spirits on the orchids. There are spirits in the. There are spirits of the jacaranda, tree, the purple flowers. Spirits are everywhere. And he said and then he would come, Shifu would back up this kind of teachings. We would be late to start evening ceremony, for example, 3 minutes late. It's supposed to start at 6:30 back at Gold Mountain. I think it's earlier here. We would be lazy. We would light the incense 5 minutes late, hit the bells 5 minutes late. One time, Master Hua was kneeling in front of the censer, right here. If I moved aside, you could see the censer. He would be kneeling at that table, and just with this serious look on his face. Shifu, can we start? Why are you kneeling here? He said, 你们啊,你们不懂. He said, you don't understand. Every strike of the bell, every hit of the wooden fish, every stick of incense, you know how many hundreds of thousands of ghosts are there waiting to be crossed over, and when you come late, they miss their chance? You talk about compassion? He said, no, Shifu, we don't know how many hundreds of thousands of ghosts there are waiting to be crossed over with every strike. He said, you all don't see it. He said, wait till you open your eyes. He said, you won't be 1 second late. We're like, whoa. So it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't see ghosts, but to hear that kind of makes sense. He says, everything you do in this purified Buddha hall helps living beings cross over. Don't do any false thinking. Just do the practices with a sincere mind, and you are helping. He said those ghosts need that sound. They need they need that light. They need that Dharma to leave the ghost realm. And if you're late, they have to get back in line, go to the end of the line. So anyway, it's like, yeah, okay. So here, what do we have? We plug in those teachings from a teacher who is incredible, seeing the actual Gaia, all of nature in its glory. And I have to footnote here, in my interfaith travels, United Religions Initiative, URI, brought so many authentic, kind-hearted people together to share. One of my dear friends is named Maria Eugenia. She's from the Quechua people of the mountains of Argentina, not Brazil. The Quechua go across Brazil and Argentina. So one day she was discoursing on the spirituality of her people in the mountains. These are mountain folks who have never been invited to join any kind of interfaith conversation before. And she was saying, oh, the mother, she says, Gaia, there are spirits everywhere. We just, that's why our religion just mostly it has to do with singing and making sure that the sacred tobacco is lit and all. Because why? The spirits of our ancestors, ghosts, and the spirits that are living in the flowers, in the grass, in the trees, in the water, in the land, they fill up. There's so many. Our job is to just to not be so coarse, so gross, but just to do what people do to keep it moving. And I said, that sounds just like the Avatamsaka Sutra. And she said, what? I said, the Buddhas. Oh, she says, yes, that's called wisdom, she said. We call that wisdom, knowing how Gaia is really built. Not this sterile, logos thing that the Protestant Reformation gave us. Oh my goodness. So anyway, yeah. Moving on here, more here. 明练十方一切一事诸方神，专清除灭无明黑暗诸业身，一心匪懈禅命佛日主咒身，庄严法界一切虚空主空神，普度众生潮诸有海诸海神，常亲积极去一切智，助道善根，告达如山主山神，常权守护一切众生菩提心成主成神，常亲守护一切智智无上法成，助大龙王，常亲守护一切众生主业茶神王，常令众生增长欢喜，千他婆王，常亲除灭诸恶鬼趣，鸠盘荼王，恒愿巴济一切众生出诸有海，迦楼罗王，愿得成就诸如来身，高处世间阿修罗王，见佛欢喜，取恭敬，处恭恭敬，摩诃罗伽王。Two more. 常厌生死，恒要见佛，诸大天王，尊重于佛，赞叹供养，诸大梵王。Okay, there it is, coming down from the top. The direction ruling spirits who were clear in mind and skilled at the behavior of beings in the 10 directions. There were also night ruling spirits who were especially diligent in destroying ignorance and darkness. Day ruling spirits who single-mindedly revealed the Buddha's sun without the slightest laxness. Space ruling spirits who adorned the Dharma realm and all of space. Ocean ruling spirits who saved beings from the ocean of existence. Mountain ruling spirits who always diligently amass good roots that aid the path and that approach omniscience. They were lofty and massive like mountains. Fortress ruling spirits who always diligently guarded and protected beings, fortress of the Bodhi mind. Dragon kings who constantly and diligently protected the unsurpassed city of Dharma and the wisdom of omniscience. Yaksha kings who constantly guarded beings. Gandharva kings who always increased the happiness of beings. Kumbhanda kings who always diligently destroyed the destinies of the hungry ghosts. Garuda kings who always vowed to pull beings from the ocean of existence and to save them. Ashura kings who vowed to cultivate and attain the Tathagata's body, to be lofty and to transcend the world. Mahoraga kings who delighted in seeing the Buddha and who reverently bowed to him. Great Deva kings who were forever weary of birth and death and delighted in seeing the Buddha. And great Brahma kings who revered the Buddha and who praised and made offerings to him. Wowee. So what's going on? As I said before, Marty, Professor Verhoeven already explained this last week. I just wanted to read it myself to keep the momentum and to keep the context. So as we move into the next phase of this whole chapter where Manjushri Bodhisattva shows up, starts to teach, and welcomes Sudana, sets him off on his pilgrimage, we will have the whole picture here. So all these spirits, so many spirits. You know, they say when you take take refuge with the Buddha, and especially if you take the 5 precepts, they say with every one of the precepts there are 5 precept protecting spirits who gather to make life good for you, so that disasters are shrunk, and good things are increased, so that troubles stay farther away, so that accidents don't happen, so that good news reaches your ears and bad sounds do not. All the very practical, very real things that wholesome spirits can do to make the life of a cultivator better, safer, more full of blessings, happier. Life is better when those spirits are around. And then Shifu would say, if we break the precepts, and of course, over the years, it's hard to keep the precepts purely. But if we break the precepts, what happens is those spirits don't protect anymore. Because why? They want to protect the light. But it's not that they go away or hurt you, it's that they no longer do that protection. So these are, over the years, we hear Master Hua talk about the interaction with we in our human body, human realm, the interaction we have with ghosts and spirits. And we don't know it. We're without that vision. Who sees them? I certainly don't. But it's fascinating to hear. And it kind of stitches together one piece of the questions that how many of us have gone out into, in Australia it's called the bush, in America it's called the forest and the woods, have gone out into the forest and the woods and felt that sense of presence there. Miyazaki, the Japanese filmmaker, Hayao Miyazaki, he made a film called Nausicaa, the Valley of the Wind, and he animates nature spirits. There's another film of his called Princess Mononoke, where forest spirits are so clear. And you think, wow, Miyazaki must have seen them. But the Japanese nature world, the world of Shinto, for example, Shandao, Shinto deliberately, distinctly addresses the world of spirits. And Miyazaki is able to draw them in his animations. So those little white tree spirits in Princess Mononoke are quite marvelous. So Spirited Away also contains this. All right, so those are the who. We have here spirits, we have dragons, we have gods, we have the Tianlong Babu, the Eightfold Pantheon. Brahma kings from the heavens who come to serve the Buddha, who praise him and make offerings to him. Why? They want to be the Buddha. They want to be a Buddha too. As nice as it is to be a Deva in the heavens, it's even nicer to be liberated from birth and death. So, what a fascinating, for me, who came from a theistic tradition where God was definitely there and heaven was there, to hear Master Hua say, heavens are nice, don't go there. You don't want to go to the heavens. That was a shocker. What, Sherpa, what? Yeah, he says, no, they're not ultimate. It's just kind of like a better hotel. You have a nicer room, nicer bathroom, thicker towels. You have lunches included in your hotel room in the heavens. Not so great. All right. Thank you for that, Avatamsaka Sutra. Be back next week with more Manjushri. Let's see what this is. Hold on. Gonna move it up here. What have we got? Optimize for video. This is 3 nights ago at the Buddhist Studies Academy of China being introduced. You're gonna see 200 young monks of China. The monk here in the front is Master Minghai. They're Fu Yanzhang, their chancellor there. He is a friend of ours, been to Berkeley Monastery, been to Salt Lake City with us, and he's going to introduce me here.
来自美国加州万佛城的恒实法师啊，还有他出来的3位法师，后面还有几位居士啊。 我们以掌声向他们表示欢迎。
Not going to listen the whole thing. He goes on to introduce me and gets my talk started. I had the chance to address the monks in training of the Buddhist Studies Academy of China. What a trip that was, how exciting. Here is our delegation without Jin Guo Shi and Jin Jing Shi, who came later. This is our delegation for the forum. 3 Mahayana monks, 3 Theravada monks. This is Ted Berger. Ted Berger is the filmmaker who made the film One Mind. We saw that here. Also the film Amongst White Clouds. We saw that here. The film Jie, talking about precepts. The film Shi, talking about Buddhist food. Ted joined our delegation. He is now making a film about Chan, Cha, Yi Wei. Chan, meditation, and tea share a single flavor. It was great to be with Ted. He's quite a dedicated Buddhist and filmmaker. Here is Amy, here's Madalena, here is Michael. That was our group. Okay, what else here? Okay, I have a story to share which includes some pretty dramatic moments, like this one here. Here we have 50 Chinese monks humming along to Dedication of Merit. May every living being. Down in the riser there's a monk with a guitar. What's going on? Why did I forgot to take my hat off. I never should have worn that hat. This is an evening's entertainment at Lingyan Si in a theater that they built in 5 days, used for 2 performances, and tore down immediately because it was illegal. It was an outdoor show in the freezing cold of Hangzhou winter night. Don't ask me why. They passed out hand warmers to everybody, gave them blankets. 2 hours long. This event included the monks of Shaolin Si, non-Shaolin Si. Here's the entire production team. Here are the young monks of Shaolin Si here in this group. This is Fo Guangshan He Chang Tuan. Never mind. These are the monks of Da Xiangguo Si, which is a temple in Kaifeng, Luoyang in Hunan, that was the emperor's own Buddhist musical troupe. They played music for the emperor as Buddhist monks. Some of their instruments have been lost, but they're preserved in this temple. And it was the work of 2 old monks who kept it alive during the Cultural Revolution, because it was going to be gone. Here are monks from the Lama, Yonghe Gong, the monks from Lama. There are monks from the Theravada tradition here, from down near Yunnan. Here is the choir of Lingyan Si of the Sangha. Very pure, very wonderful. And an incredible entertainment. I was the English language MC once again, sharing with monk Yin Xin Fashi, who was the Chinese language monk. And the program included monks flying through the air. see it. You see him do it right in front of you. Here's the scene. There they go. Somersaults, flying through the air, fly through the air with the greatest of ease, the daring young monks on their flying trapeze. I'll give you a sense of what is here. Yeah, here we go. I mean, where but China, right? This is the home of wire fu, kung fu. And these guys do it so well. Here's backstage. That's the audience out there in this outdoor, freezing outdoor auditorium. Amazing. So to be able to take part in this is just beyond imagination, right? So as the English language MC, I had to keep running out on the stage and read my script. The director, yes, Sam? No. The director of this event is this gentleman right here, Mr. Chan. He is in his 60s. He's an old TV director from the 80s in Hangzhou, famous for being professional and delivering the show on time, and he shouts. People are afraid of him and love him at the same time because he's the real thing. But if you screw up, you know, his voice, he took the microphone. 各位观众，请你们就位. Like that, you know. Whoa. He kept putting a blanket around me. He was afraid I was going to get cold because I came up from summer in Australia. And this is Master Xin Yin, who was the Chinese MC. And we would be standing at the edge of the stage, waiting for the lights to come up, and he would go, shop, 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 shop. Get on the stage, go, 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 go. And then, shop, 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 shop. Get off the stage. Oh, great fun. So what an experience to be part of this. And, you know, the Sutra talks about all these different living beings and Garudas and Mamorakas and music spirits and all. Standing backstage in Hangzhou as 100 performers come by, going up on stage, watching all these personalities and thinking, how many lifetimes have I been part of this kind of thing, you know? And these are very much like a circus, and the kind of people who are drawn to that energy, walking around in the dark with the lights shining on their face in makeup and costume, and it's just like, I'd like to be back in my home feeding cockatoos if I'd feel much more secure. Like I know what I'm doing. The imposter syndrome was rampant that night. So anyway, that is just a little bit of the flavor of where I have been the last 2 weeks. And there's much more excitement ahead. So I will be happy to now invite, let's see here. I would like to invite, let's see, I'll save this for next week. This is the article from the WeChat of our visit to the Buddhist Studies Academy, 中国佛学院, Master Minghai. It was 7 degrees below zero when this picture was taken. 7 below. Everybody is cold. All the monks singing along with 北字部落地. Okay, that's for next week. We'll tell you that story. Okay, Dharma Master Jin Chuan, Jin Wei, are you there?
Yes, we're here.
Awesome. Let me bring up Berkeley Master. What have you got to share with us tonight?
Well, tomorrow morning we have the Great Compassion Mantra, Dedication of Merit. We've been doing that since the beginning of the pandemic, and we'll be doing it this tomorrow, Sunday morning, 6:30 to 7:30 a.m., November 26th, and we'll have one more on December 31st. We're having a conversation perhaps that we might be finishing it in the near future because we've been reciting for quite a while. So that's in conversation. But for those who would like to join, we're still having it. Please join in tomorrow, and Jing Fosher will be giving a Dharma reflection. So that will be a great chance to tune in. Following that, if you look down, I think DRBU is also having a talk from DRBU alumni. So you can join. That's going to be on the 28th, which is 3 days from now, Tuesday. And then if you go continue, there's just recordings of the recent events. One is by Dr. Martin Verhoeven on inner and outer transformation. You can see a recording on top. And then below, Ajahn Amaro gave a talk at Berkeley Monastery, and that's also available in case people don't see it. We'll be taking that off our website pretty soon. So if people wish to watch them, they're available. Marty's still lecturing on Friday nights. And so this semester's ending soon. So I think probably 2 more times or 3 more times before he will be finishing that. And then same goes for Stephen Tainer below. And otherwise, we have our regular Dharma talks. Rav Heng Sher is giving the engaging lectures on Master Empty Cloud's pictorial biography and lots of stories. So that's very good chance to learn about our Shi Gong, or I don't know, not a Shi Gong of either, or what's the great grandfather? Shi Gong Gong? I don't know. What's the next level up for myself? But yeah, the next level, Wai Gong Shi. Okay, sorry, I don't know my Chinese. Great master.
Yeah.
And then the Saturday night lecture is what we just watched.
Okay. I should mention that this lecture is changing times. It's not going to be at 1 p.m. on Friday, California time. Let's see, I don't have the details. So anyway, be prepared for that, some news about that. The reason being that we have most of our attendance is now folks who live in Asia, and they're 2 hours behind Australia time. So I'm there 6 o'clock in the morning. They're there at 4 in the morning. So we're going to be focusing on Gold Coast Dharma Realm. 12:30 on Saturday afternoon is when this lecture is going to change. So what that means is folks will be able to come to Gold Coast Dharma Realm in the morning to attend the different, what is it, Dabi Chan, or the Great Compassion Repentance in the morning. Those who bow are welcome to have lunch. And then there will be the lecture after lunch, 12:30, here for an hour. And it will be 10:30 a.m. in China, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam. Then in the afternoon, we have a Chan class, meditation class at 2:30. So we've timed the pictorial biography, so that folks here in Australia can come on a Saturday. It also benefits everybody listening in Asia. It's harder. It's 6:30 in California, which allows you to listen to this lecture and then take part in Marty's lecture, as long as he's going. The people who are discomforted will be the Europeans. There's 2 a.m. for them, 2:30. So they can watch on YouTube. That's the plan. Okay, thank you, Jin Chuan. Amitofo. There we go. Dedication of merit time. Bring it up. People can think about how they would like to dedicate their merit. Participate in the heart of the Bodhisattva. Oh, that's going to be too small. Okay, here we go. This is indeed what we sang in Hangzhou at the Buddhist Forum. Our minds as one and in line, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see, our hands and hearts can find arms away to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward, may all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and one. May all become compassionate. And before we go, we can bow to the Buddhas. Third bow. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Alrighty, that's going to do it for us for this week. See you all next week, and we get to meet Manjushri Bodhisattva. See you then. Amitofo. Bye, everybody.